So I welcome everybody. We have a lot of people on this team call, and I'm really excited. The entire purpose of this call, we hope that we all made you feel like you were a part of Vegas. I know that we were putting a lot of pictures on Facebook and trying to update the team pages as much as we could. It was pretty fast moving. For those of you that were not there, I really, really hope that you can make it there next year. Have that be your goal. Start saving money now. It's so worth it. And we'll kind of fill you in on what we've learned. Pretty much we were together all as a group with the exception of one day where we kind of went out into breakout sessions, and they broke them out depending on the ranks. And so it was really helpful for our team. We have so many that are at different ranks and climbing ranks and moving places, but we were all able to pick up a little bit of information that we wanted to share with you guys. We don't know where the next year's convention will be yet. They're going to announce the destination at Leaders Retreat this year. But for just a little bit before we get started, Victor Antonio, he's very popular in the Plexus family. If you do not know who he is, he was our MC. Highly recommend you to go out on YouTube and subscribe to his YouTube channel. So it's Victor Antonio. He has a lot of sales trainings, really great nuggets of information. So if you don't follow Victor Antonio, highly recommend for you to do it. And then Rita Davenport, she was at Leaders Retreat last year and was so popular and hilarious that they brought her back this year for convention. She has a new book out called The Funny Side Up that I'm going to check out for myself, but I would recommend for you to take a look at that as well. And she's really focusing on humor. She had really, really great, interesting quotes, and those are all a part of the book as well. But we're going to start out kind of with a panel. We'll let our leaders that were in the silver ambassador groups kind of go and give you a little bit of feedback of what they learned. So I will let you girls take it.
All right, I'll unmute myself and get started. I'm going to get started. I'm going to tell you about the success guide, and then Marti's going to talk more about social media and kind of do a little bit of a few minutes about social media. So we had a fantastic time with Sheila Medina and Sarah Marble, and they were fantastic, and then the gal that Marti will talk about. But the main focus was kind of utilizing our success kit. It is fantastic, you guys. I had not gone through it before convention because I didn't have one. So I got one at convention, went through it. It is like a roadmap to success. I'm not kidding you. I love this thing. The first thing that I'll tell you about is there's a quick start guide that just gives you lots of good little goals to get you started quickly. I mean, kind of is what it says. There is a CD, which I don't know. Does anyone know what's on this DVD?
I didn't know there was one.
Okay, well, there's a DVD. I encourage you to watch it. I will do the same. And I just got back from the lake, so I'm a little behind times too. These are thank you cards you can send to customers, which is fantastic. Here's a compensation, Earn to Learn. It's the Learn to Earn is a compensation booklet that shares that. And there is also fantastic cards. Sarah Marble takes these cards and puts them in her purse. So she has them wherever she goes, whenever she is out and about. She actually signed up an ambassador with these on the airplane. So she says she doesn't go anywhere without them, and she recommends we all take them with us. It's a good visual, and it also has great little talking points so you don't have to feel like you're on the spot to think of something. This is fantastic. So those are going in my purse. And then we have a few What If This Could Change Everything brochures. Sorry, you can't really see that very well. But anyway, it's the What If This Could Change Everything. And they're fantastic. They're a great thing to share with recruits that you're trying to get to join your team, and you can walk through them with them. You can also, they're great. You can actually share them with them without walking through them. I mean, I recommend being there with them and talking to them, but if you have somebody you want to share this with and you don't have a chance to talk to them right away, it's great. It kind of stands on its own. Okay, now I'll go through the success guide. I mean, this thing, I feel like it's definitely one Plexus. These ambassadors put this thing together. You can tell that this was put together with love and knowledge of what it takes to do this job and to build your company. So they start where I would start. It's a fantastic place to start with the power of network marketing. So building your belief, we all know you need to build your belief in yourself, build the belief in MLM, and then build the belief in Plexus. And so this just talks about how important how wonderful of a opportunity network marketing is, and then specifically why Plexus is the best opportunity out there. So I think there's some great talking points here too to share. Number 2, chapter 2 talks about taking action. Basically, it's perfect. You start with your why, get that really ingrained in your head, write it down, put it places where you can look at it, because what drives action is emotion. So if you have an emotional why, which I was asking people their why at convention, and when they cried, you knew it was a good one. I mean, they say you want a why that makes you cry, and I'm telling you, those people were super committed and going for it, those ones who were really connected to their why. So really take time to look into what your why is, find the emotion that's behind it. If it's trying to make more money, or if it's because you feel just amazing and you can't not share, whatever it is that has gotten you started in this business, be really connected to that, because that will help you propel yourself through this company. So that was fantastic. I love there's a super section about goals, writing goals, and having affirmations. This is, any business leader, any author will tell you this is extremely important to do. You want to be setting goals. You want to set all your goals and set all the steps that'll take you to get there. And then you want to prioritize them. I'm reading a really great book called Eat That Frog. And it talks about prioritizing and setting goals. And a lot of what's in this book are tips that are from, basic tips. So anyway, fantastic job making your Frank's list. This is kind of seemingly daunting, but it's so important. Celeste Gwynn I heard her say once, you've got gold in your backyard and a pickaxe. Do not let someone else come into your backyard with their pickaxe. And this is a great opportunity to get this list, get these people contacted. Don't let someone else talk to them, because right now we're still, building, but there's going to be a time when there'll be 3 or 4 of your friends will be Plexus reps or more. And somebody else is going to talk to them. So you want to make sure that you get this Frank's list put together and start nailing it. Start just getting out there and talking to those people. It talks about creating consistency and doing what it takes to make this business work, and really focusing on IPA, income producing activity. Chapter 3 is about customer care, and it really talks about the importance of caring for your customers, not just service, but to actually call them, to get them on the phone, to get a message to them, checking in with them, seeing how things are going, seeing how they're doing on the products, making sure that you're helping them tweak products as you can. This isn't just to put a fire out. This is to actually take care of your customers. Send them, if there's helpful information you can send them about water or whatever you're doing, putting them in groups. We're doing that with our customers to just give them care, because that's what we want to do, is care for them, not just service what their issues are. It has great suggestions about following up. I love they actually have ways to just little scripts that you can use, so you don't have to recreate the wheel. Social media, I'm not going to talk about that because Marti will, but they have great scripts for doing your first post, and a little bit about what to post, what not to post. So you can take a look at that, but Marti's going to talk a little bit more about that. Events, it talks about the importance of events, what kind of events are out here, how to run an event, what to say, how to deal with objections, you name it. It talks about anything you need to know, what to take to an event, what to make sure you have, information that you can share, all of that. Chapter 6 is about sharing Plexus, so it just gives you suggestions. And one of the most important things that I've learned, and I think everyone kind of has heard, but the most important thing you can do when recruiting a customer or an ambassador is to really focus on them and put a lot of interest in them. So ask them lots of questions. Make sure that try to get their why out of them, so that you can help them get to answer their why even better. So that's the most, of all the things that you do, recruiting, closing, any of those tasks or skills that you have, questioning, asking questions and interviewing someone is the very most important. And I find myself, this is the hardest thing for me to do. So I like to talk. So I have a hard time shutting up and asking questions. And so I'm getting better at this. But this is the most important thing. 80% of your effort should be put towards asking questions and getting to know them and giving them an opportunity to tell you what they need and what they want, because they're going to tell you if you give them time to answer those questions. The sharing Plexus chapter 6 also just talks about different tools that are available. and how to just go for it and talk to strangers. I know Sarah Marble gave a suggestion or gave us an example. She was on the plane and she got that girl signed up. I think all the ambassadors just sign up everybody. I swear there was one who, all the emerald jewels, there was one who signed up, the lady, the hotel register person. So they were all these people were waiting in line, but she got her girl signed up while they were waiting. I was like, oh my gosh, that's impressive. I mean, really, she popped open her computer and she signed that girl up. So anyway, there's that. But basically the most important thing when you're sharing is just to make sure that you're connecting with their why and making sure that you get to know them and really know so that you can give them back what they need. And so that there's a statement that says something like, well, I have this opportunity that helps busy moms like you work from home and make full-time income working part-time so you don't ever have to miss those kids' concerts or those play date, whatever the person is sad that they're missing because they're working full-time. But anyway, really getting a benefit statement that tells you who are like them, what they'll benefit from, and why. So anyway, I think in the last two are product knowledge, which just talks about the importance of knowing your products, and kind of helping when you find out the person's why and their medical history, how to kind of help match them to the correct product. And then Chapter 9 is just a real brief overview of the compensation plan. But there's there's a more comprehensive learn to earn in here. So anyway, that was a quick and dirty intro to your success kit, but it is fantastic. I highly encourage you to get that baby out and just start going through it this weekend. It's a perfect opportunity. Get through it because and start going through it systematically, because starting with your why, setting goals, getting affirmations, those are all really important first steps. So anyway, that's my 5 minutes or a few more. All right, Marti's up.
All right, thanks, Kay. So another part of the silver presentation was about social media. And I know Nicole obviously did a new ambassador training last week about social media. But a couple of things, it was Rachel Fulks who was presenting. And some of the things that we heard, you guys hearing me okay? We're all good? Okay, cool. Was that you really want to brand yourself. You want to focus, and we've heard this, right? We're aware of this, but you really need to focus on what's important about what you're sharing, and that whatever you're putting out there is what you're presenting to the world about who you are, and you're using social as one of your tools for your business. So as people are seeing you and seeing things you're posting, that's a reflection of you. I think, what I really liked about it was that people are going to trust who you are. And you need to trust who you are on social media. So if you're sharing on social media and you're sharing something that isn't necessarily you, Rachel's example was that she was sharing like really motivational, inspiring, like, kumbaya, everybody loves everybody, let's do this. And she said it just wasn't her. What was more her was, I think, Tara, you might have posted something like this earlier in the week, but it was like, some days I really have my act together, and other days I leave my keys in the fridge. So, it's finding who you are and sharing you and not trying to fit yourself into somebody else's image. One of the things that she really focused on was, and we can't control this necessarily, but you yourself are a reflection of Plexus. You are also a reflection of any of the other ambassadors out there. So if another ambassador is perhaps not presenting themselves or Plexus in a way that you like, that affects you. So you have to think through that anything you're saying, anything you're doing affects the greater good. And we really are one Plexus, and that was really driven home at convention, which is everybody's here to support each other and lift each other up. The company is here to support us and lift us up. So pretty awesome. Some other tips that they gave was don't just go look at your social media and double check to make sure you're not puking Plexus all over everybody. One of the things that she suggested was over 3 or 4 days to have maybe 15 or 16 posts over that 3 or 4 days. So, an average of 3 or 4 posts a day, and to focus on maybe having 10 of them not necessarily being Plexus related, 4 being indirect Plexus, and 1 being direct Plexus. Now, I know some of us have a different approach and different mix to that. I know I do at least 1 direct Plexus post a day, but then I try to pepper in obviously other things that are not direct Plexus. Another thing was best times to post. She said 8 a.m., noon, and 8 p.m. are your best times. So just something to keep in mind. There are tools out there that can also kind of auto schedule and help you out there. If you're only posting on social media, this was a key one of the highlights, and then I'm going to wrap it up with just one more sentence. But she said, if you're only posting on social media, you are basically a third-party validation for other Plexus ambassadors. So don't just rely on social media. It's one tool in your tool belt. It is a big tool, and a lot of us have seen great results being on social, but understand that just being on social isn't going to get it done. I know I hide behind social sometimes. It's easier just to leave a Facebook voice message for people, but definitely follow up with people, reach out directly to people. Social, again, is just one tool. They're going to see your stuff out there, but you also, this is a relationship business, so you've got to be building those relationships. And I guess that's it. I guess that's my last tidbit. I know we don't have a lot of time, so yay, social.
Sorry, I was muting myself. Thanks, Marti and Kay. You guys, that was great. I think that you touched on really important topics. I know none of us were in the session with you, and I think that there were a lot of really good takeaways. And I agree. I've had that success guide sitting there for quite some time, and I go through it, but I really, really needed to dig in deep. So thank you guys both for what you said, and I'm going to turn it over to Ruth and Carly.
All right. So Ruth, Ericka, and I, can you guys hear me? Yes. Okay. Ruth, Ericka, and I were in the training for Gold and Senior Gold. And Ruth and I were talking, and we really kind of had the same three major points, which was time blocking and training new ambassadors, and then duplication. So we're going to start off and talk about time blocking. So the biggest thing is, so many of us talk about that we fit it into the nooks and crannies of our days, but we have to be intentional when we're doing that. So Jen Hawkins talked about this, and she said, don't wake up in the morning and figure out when you're going to fit Plexus in, or when you're going to fit your family time in, for that matter. If you go ahead and time block your day, then you can fit everything that you need to in, hopefully. So it can even be in 15-minute increments. So for example, 7 to 9 a.m., you might be getting the kids ready off to school, getting yourself to work, and then you know that from 11 to 11:30, you're going to eat lunch and maybe reach out to an ambassador. So that's 30 minutes that you are going to take at least a few minutes there to reach out to an ambassador, check in, or answer any question emails, that type of thing. But how do you know what to prioritize? And so that's where the quadrants really came in. And if you Google this, I will actually post it too after Nicole posts the recording. I will link it to there. But so in your first quadrant, you have things that are important and urgent. So that would be an example of customer questions or new ambassador questions. Then in quadrant 2, you have things that are important but not urgent. So that would be like your income producing activities and your personal growth. So those should also prioritize over the other quadrants. In your third quadrant, you would have not important, but they are urgent. So ambassadors who know where to find answers, if they are reaching out to you, asking for help, you can remind them where to look, but not find answers for them. And you would have that lower on your list of to-dos. And then finally, the quadrant 4, which gets me a lot, is things like scrolling through Facebook, TV, anything basically that can be a time waster, even too much chatting with people on Facebook. So you really want to prioritize what goes in which quadrant and focus first on quadrant 1, then and kind of go down like that so that you can get the most urgent things finished in your day so that you don't have to have a 2-hour period. Oh, and she said if you can time block your week, like if your week is pretty structured the same, you can do that like on Sunday for the whole week, but at least try to do it the night before if every day looks a little bit different. Then she said another way for time management and to fit as much as you can into those little 15-minute increments is to use that voice messenger on Facebook. That is really a great tool that everyone is having a lot of success with. It saves you a lot of time, and it also, I think it was Rhonda Shaw, she said, curiosity kills the cat. Whenever people see your message, they don't know what you're going to talk about yet because they don't see just a few keywords. So then they listen to the whole thing instead of just dismissing it at, oh, it's something Plexus. Then the other thing regarding time blocking, so they had some tools and tricks that I can also post on the link about keyboard shortcuts. So like whenever you would start typing a word, your phone would then automatically finish out like a 3-sentence thing about why you started Plexus, for example. Or your website could be a shortcut that you can put in there. So I will post that as well. Ruth, anything you wanted to add, or Ericka, on time blocking?
I think you did a really good job, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure you're missing anything on time blocking. Ericka, do you feel like she did? Did you lose Ericka?
Let me unmute myself.
There we go.
I was answering like, no, I think she did a great job.
Good.
So then the training new ambassadors, Ruth, do you want to start on that?
Yeah, I will. So that's kind of a piece that I really felt like going into convention. I was like, I feel like, I've really practiced over the last year, my messages, how I approach people, my style, my, the way that really having my voice translate through social media, through all this. But now what do? I have a team of people that, are ready to go, and I don't know what the hell I'm doing. So I feel like that was that was such a topic that was answered during our gold and senior gold session. And I was so thankful for that. I loved the time blocking. I felt like I had watched a video from Sarah Marble talking about that several months before convention. And so I had really implemented that, and it was working beautifully. Now everything's out the window with the summer, but during the school year, I really felt like I was doing that. And I can speak to the fact that it did absolutely, like I saw a lot of growth during that time with the consistency of just being intentional with my blocks of time. And then also being able to put away my phone when I knew it was my kid block of time. So that to me was freedom, and knowing and not feeling guilty that I should always be checking my phone. So I'll leave that. But training new ambassadors. Yes, because I think Carly and I and Ericka too, we've talked about, like, we didn't really know how we got here. We've done a little bit of everything, and I feel like the company has done an incredible job of putting structure around how to get people trained and ramped up. And so our success kit is a huge part of that, like Kay was talking about. So don't just put that in a corner. Like, it literally is step by step by step everything that somebody needs to know. But we need to be facilitating that and really helping, our new ambassadors that are ready to work the business and want to do this, getting them into it. So they were talking about, having a meeting really quickly after they sign, where you go through, you take yours if they haven't gotten theirs yet, or you have them bring theirs, and go through the quick start guide, the thank you cards that can be sent out. And I write a handwritten thank you note every time somebody signs up as a new customer. And I think that is received really well. So those are in there for you to use. They talked about going through the getting started guide that Kay was talking about more in depth. And what we've done to kind of help with that, actually, let me back up. So going through that with them at like a one-on-one meeting, having coffee or lunch or something, and going through that kit, setting them some early goals, then setting up a 3-way phone call with your upline. So pull Nicole into that call. It's easier sometimes for somebody like Nicole to ask them, what's your why? What are your goals? Where do you see this? Do you want it to just be something where you're covering your products, or do you want to take this to, the top and have the financial freedom? So I sometimes think that's an easier way for us to tag team and kind of get some information from people in a way that's not so direct and like the focus is on them, and pressure. So pull her into that conversation and then let her go and dive deeper with them, which I think is a great way to structure those 3-way phone calls. And Nicole, we had done one like that, a couple of weeks ago, and I thought it worked beautifully. And I think Kay and I had done one like that as well, where we just in the beginning of the phone call, the first 5-10 minutes was the 3 of us talking and really, making it comfortable. And then Nicole had to go, and it worked out great because then I could say, you were talking to Nicole about da, 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 da. And then we dug a little bit deeper into that. And then some goal setting. They posted a sheet on the gold page from convention that was how to make $500 and how to make $1,000 with Plexus, and it backed out exactly what you had to do to get there. So I think having that resource on hand when you go to like your first meeting or that 3-way call is important, because then you can strategically say, here's what we have to do to get you there. If their goal is to make $500 or make $1,000, whatever their goal is, help them know concretely what their steps are. So that's huge. Where was I going after that? We're setting up a new completely 100% duplicatable bootcamp group, and that's going to be piloted July 1st. And I know Carly and Nicole and I have kind of set that up. And so anybody else that wants to do that, if you have a couple of runners that really want to get going, or you want to add them to ours, that's totally fine. But here is the post for your first day. There's 2 action items a week. You set a due date for your people. They have to comment, with their homework essentially underneath each post. And then the way it's set up, there'll be more details to come on that, but like you do a drawing for the people that have been, participating every single time. And then you make a post on your bigger team page that says, hey, sponsors, take note of these people. These have been the people that have been rocking every single challenge. So it gives them that recognition. So keeping people motivated is big. There was so much information. I feel like I'm just like glossing over this, but that's a big thing that's coming, is the boot camp that I think we're really excited about. And it will literally be, here's your script, go do this on your team page. So there's no recreating the wheel. I was so relieved when we saw that Tamara Holloway had put that on that page, because I was like, well, that's exactly what we needed. We plug it in, we're off to the races. So that was awesome. So that's that duplication piece too. I mean, training your people and duplicating really is kind of melded together, is getting them, ramped up, getting them some action items that they're completing. It's a month-long boot camp that we're going to be doing, and at least every other month, if not every month, depending on how rapidly we're adding people. And this is, as we find things out and we add things, it's one Plexus. We'll all be sharing what's working and what's not working and how we're going to be, working that. So did I miss anything, Carly?
No, you did not. Okay. Nope.
A couple of the notes that they took, I'm just going to kind of read from the duplication section. They talked about how do you motivate your team to duplicate in order to promote, teaching your leaders how to share the belief and the passion, always being a product of the product, consistently affirming your belief in the industry, the company, and the products. We're sharing our belief, not just the products. So again, that's what it means to you, like Marti was saying on social media. We're constantly pouring into our team so that they know how to do that then for their teams. That's what the duplication piece is. Always share your passion. They talked about how to keep your team engaged. Have your team page. I know that was a goal for several people that did not have one yet. So that's awesome to get that team page, even if you only have 1 or 2 people. If they want to work the business, you're a leader, get that team page going. Creating a positive team culture. Something they were talking about is connecting your sidelines. So all of your level 1s, bringing them to the table together on a Zoom call and really, getting them so they have that camaraderie and they're feeling like they're part of something bigger. So that's huge. I think Nicole's done a wonderful job of that for our team. So that's something that I just need to remember to do for my own team. Positive and uplifting. Always, always, always. Not fake, but just encouraging and creating, a place where we're all lifting each other up. Establishing IPA groups. That's huge. That's income producing activity. We have one going on right now, which is, I think we're all breathing a little easier now that we're doing it again, because we're feeling like we're moving forward. That's been awesome. If you have questions about the IPA, let your sponsor note, and we'll get you plugged in. Grouping people by rank, that was super helpful. We saw that at convention, all being in the same room with people at the same place. Those tips for where we are in our business was so helpful. Creating a book club, having Zoom training, encouragement, and having lots of contests. Identifying your runners and respecting your entire downline. Actions speak louder than words, so you got to be walking the walk, not just talking the talk. Pour your efforts into those who want it, not trying to drag people along that you want it for them more than they want it for themselves. So I think that's pretty good. If anybody has questions or wants more information, let me know. Ericka, what did I miss? Do you feel like?
No, I think you guys touched it all. I mean, the main points that were different from the silver, they kind of integrated some of those same tips, social media, so on and so forth, using your success kit. So yeah, absolutely.
Thank you guys so much. We really appreciate it. And I think we have about 5.5 minutes left. So I'm going to let Ericka finish up. Ericka's going to touch base on the new product Edge, which we all love, and then the updated block, which she'll talk a little bit about that. I'm going to talk about, not on this call, but I'm going to do a video and post it to the team page tomorrow about the Consistency Club, Club 300, Club 500. I'll let you know all of the exciting information on that, and then as well as the new tools that we have in our back office called Shareables. So Ericka, I'll let you finish it up, and I'll let you know when we have a 1 minute warning so you won't get cut off.
Well, I've got a remaining meeting time at the top here. I'll pay attention.
Okay, perfect.
I'll talk about Edge first in case I get cut off. So the 3 main ingredients that we want to talk about when we talk about Edge are, okay, great, it'll knock out your energy drink, but why? And so the theacrine, which is a stimulant, it is comes from the kucha tea leaves, which is a Chinese, type of tea. Long-term goals of that is that, okay, yes, it is a stimulant, but it works a little bit different. So people see increased motivation. We're talking being able to increase our activity, which is great. People feel like they have a little bit more energy. They might be able to get out there and exercise or do a little bit more than they have been doing, or they're choosing Edge versus an energy drink that they may have chosen on days where they don't want to have a second pink drink, or that's what they had available was, an energy drink. So it increases motivation, focus, alertness. Okay, so the nice thing about these tea leaves, which as my medical brain goes to that side of the thing, is it has a longer half-life than just general caffeine. So half-life means the duration that it lasts in our bodies. So if we drink a cup of coffee and it lasts maybe 3 hours of increased energy, we're talking that the kucha leaves are going to give me like a 6-hour boost. So it's a longer half-life on how it affects you independently, which is kind of nice because like I talk about half-life medications with patients all the time. They'll say, well, I take my blood pressure medication in the morning, but when I take my blood pressure at 10 o'clock at night, it's kind of high. Well, your half-life is 12 hours into your pills. So when you're seeing that kind of increase again, it's a half-life. So we're increasing that there, which is really nice. So then the proprietary blend that we're working on, getting the patent for, is really an amino acid that's found in those leaves. And it, again, is proprietary. So our blend is a little bit different than, say, the theanine that you can get. Like, you could purchase it in powder form online right now. But our blend is going to be different than theirs. And so that's why the patent is still pending. But again, amino acids, we're talking about how it combines with and decreases stress, which is really nice. That's where we get our focus from. Okay, so when we are at high stress, our cortisol levels go up. What happens to us? We start to get all out of whack. So if we can decrease our stress, then we decrease so many things: irritability, ability to focus, motivation. All of those things come from these ingredients. So, and then the, just the coffee, the natural coffee. So they talk about the Robusta, which is, you know, about 1 cup of coffee. So combination altogether, we're talking, it does not cause the jitteriness, which is nice. Again, we decrease that stress, decrease that cortisol, which is so different from a sugary, chemical-filled energy drink. And then also with the tea leaves, we talk about anti-inflammatory. So it all is one big picture when we talk about the products together. It affects how dopamine receptors are supported in our body. I mean, I could go into the whole medicine part of it at another time, but really overall, they say that use of the combination, not just not just Edge, but altogether, these type of all natural stimulants, 7 days can decrease the damaging effects of chronic stress, anxiety on the body, and they become significantly reduced. So we're looking at something that is not filled with chemicals you can't pronounce, and the ability to give us that, like the name is, that edge against stress and being focused and having that extra energy. So, and then the block, again,